They're like an animal that just wants to be in the same habitat forever. And they are so irritated by the possibility of doing something different than what they've always done that it would be like taking a banana away from a monkey. It would be like disturbing the habitat of a fucking ostrich or something. And it's just, you know, picture that ostrich running around very fast, and you're just disturbing its habitat, and it's starting getting angry, and it's chasing you, and it's getting bitter, and it's pecking at you and shit. It's like, okay, leave the ostrich alone, fine. And then human beings, you would think, are commanded by some kind of higher will or higher purpose to participate in something truly historical, beyond themselves, beyond their habitat, beyond their ecology, beyond their own immediate sense of self, something greater than themselves. They would be commanded to that, to task as far as that's concerned. And, you know, even if they disagree with you, they all agree that the vision we should be looking at is forward, away and out of what we are now. We should be looking to get out of our comfort zones, and we should be looking toward a path other than what we've been doing for the past few decades. And like, we have just committed the crime of what? Upsetting that? It's that's why I'm questioning their very humanity. Are they animals? Is there some kind of new, you know, I read that thing that most people don't have an internal monologue, and it scares me. I really question these people's status as human beings. I really wonder, like, think about it. A chimpanzee looks kind of similar to us, right? That looks a little similar to us. What if all of these so-called humans, the leftists, what if they just look like us and they're not actually like us? Like, they're not actually motivated by a higher purpose. They're just kind of like these like retard beings, like a monkey of some kind of ape that's just like stuck in being the same thing forever. And it's just that barrier. There's such a profound sense of alienation I feel toward leftists. I cannot establish a human connection toward them. I don't know what to say. Like, I'm talking to you guys right now, and we're participating in a higher form of reality. I'm literally just some guy. I'm a random hairy Arab dude from Michigan. But yet we can all gather around here, and somehow we're participating in this question mark of what are we? What are we doing here? What's the plan? What's the purpose? That's what we're doing when we engage in language and we communicate and we have a discourse, a real one, right? And so we can kind of go beyond where we are now, and we can just kind of dwell in that question and dwell in that. But it's like leftists. You piece of shit. It's like, what is your purpose in life? What are you defending? What is it you're defending so strongly? It's like what are you defending? Your fucking ability to not have to take showers and go dumpster diving? What are you defending? Why do you have these very strong feelings about the need for Haas to disappear, for Patsock to disappear? Like, what do we do? What about your life are we disturbing? What is changing? I don't understand. And then I think about it, and I realize there's a high chance that these people, quote unquote people, and I say that with a heavy emphasis on the quotation marks, there's a high possibility that they're not even human. There's a high possibility that they're like NPCs, and they're somehow pre-programmed to just be hostile to any trace of historical novelty. And it's such a terrifying thought. It's so terrifying. But the scariest part of all is they look like us. They look human. They have a human shell, and they blend in with us, but they're not like us. they're really not like us. It's a completely different species. And this has profound implications from a Lysenkoist perspective of science, because they do look different than us. If you look at their faces, if you look at the way they speak, physically they're taking a new form, a new post-human form. And it's very frightening, it's very disturbing. Sophie from Mars, that thing is not of our kind. We are entering an era of speciation. Oh, you think it's a joke? I'm telling you the truth. Sophie from Mars is not like us. It's not of our kind. It is not of our species. That thing is that monstrosity represents a fundamental breakaway from humanity. And a few generations of that thing, I think we were looking at something that has a tail. I think we're going to be looking at something with a snout. So it's like I think we really take it for granted. We're really taking it for granted, but I try to be empathetic. I try to have empathy and get in the mind of everyone. And when I think about people like Thoughtslime and that Sophie thing, every time I try to put myself in their shoes, it leads to a great and profound level of mental anguish and pain, because I could not imagine what loss of resolve and soul could lead you to become such a malformed, it's like a being in a different universe. I would rather the end of the whole cosmos and all life in the entire universe than ever have to experience life from their point of view. All 7-8 billion people on Earth, I would rather all of them die suffering, torturous, painful, slow deaths than ever have to adopt the point of view of the Sophie creature and Thoughtslime. That is a sacrifice I would be more than willing to allow all of humanity to make. But that leads to an important question, which is an open question, is where do we draw the line? How does humanity liberate itself from these strange things that are just emerging? It's a new generation of, we talk about the synthetic left. Nobody talks about these synthetic species, which is not of us. It is not like us. It is not one of us. You can't converse with these people. You can't speak to them. They don't even have an internal monologue. It's very scary. It's very scary. I mean, imagine Bigfoot was running around. You would be scared if Bigfoot was running around because it looks kind of like us, but it's very destructive and unpredictable. That's exactly what leftists are. It's like Bigfoot running around. They're just these strange creatures with, yes, they are, for now, have an upright posture and they have 2 arms and 2 legs, but they're just kind of running around and they're using the human body. They're using the human body as a vestigial structure from the past and running around completely representing a different species entirely. It's not the same species as us. And they're very angry. They're very, very angry people. And I don't know what the solution is. I look around the world and I don't see this anywhere else. This is the only place where these people have a voice and have power. The rest of the world locks them up. They lock them up. They put them in a mental asylum. Or worse. Yes, indeed, or worse. And we encourage this species. We allow them to grow and cultivate. So, as far as the future is concerned, I want to ask you guys a question. For any real change to happen in this country, for any real movement to even exist in this country, when you have these demonic elements, and you can call them demonic if you're religious, or if you're a scientoid, you could say these mutant elements, these strange mutant breakaway species that we still are calling people. Let's admit they're not people. It's a different species than us. It's not the same. That Sophie thing is not one of us. Just picture it. Picture you're in an open field and that Sophie thing is running around in the field, chasing you at night. That's a monster. That's a monstrosity. That's like Bigfoot. Picture them stomping very loudly. You can't even see them because it's too dark, but they're this husk of a shadowy Frankenstein-like ginormous aggressive creature is moving towards you, very hostile, very aggressively. It knocks you down like a linebacker into next week. There's no stopping it. There's no controlling these people. There's no regulating them. There's no discourse with them. They're coming. They're coming for you. They're coming for all of us. Imagine that thing banging down your door, demanding that you obey their rules. Because there's going to be a time where the platform, Elon Musk is buying Twitter, and we're going to be able to say what we want. You know what's going to happen when that happens? They're going to take enforcing the rules into their own hands. They're going to bust your doors down and beat you with bats until you fulfill, until you tell them what they want to hear. And you think it's a joke. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. And this is a pressing issue. This is a pressing issue facing our time. Of different beings, different species, different creatures emerging that have all of the powers humans have physically. Which is, we tend to think wild animals are scary. A bear is scary because it's very strong, but also it's very versatile and it's quite big. And we tend to think a lion would be scary. We tend to think a gorilla on the loose would be scary. Now, what if a human, some animal that had a human body and the versatility of a human body and the navigatability of a human body was running around in the wild? That's what we're dealing with leftists. You're scared of animals. Humans are very scary. Just physically alone. It's very terrifying. That's what you're dealing with leftists. They look like us. They physically appear like us. They're not one of us. They are not one of us. They are not of our species. They are not of our... They are literally becoming different beings in real time. And what can we do about this problem? What can we do about this problem? I don't see easy solutions. I don't. But it's a very big problem. It's a very big problem, and mental illness dominates on the internet. It dominates. I am so scarred mentally from that thing, from That is the most ugly, disgusting person I've seen in weeks, and that's saying something. It's actually the scariest thing of all is all of the validation that Ogre was getting. Oh, you're actually so pretty. Oh, you're so... And they're all doing it. They know they're lying. They know it's not the truth. We all see the truth. And the Ogre, it goes to their head. And they're actually experiencing it. And it's going to their head completely. And it's this scary thing, this scary creature. This Frankenstein monster. Block-headed monster that's gonna mow you and your kids down like a linebacker. They're gonna run towards you, and with all of the might and weight vested in them, they're gonna clobber you into next week very fast. They're gonna run very fast at you at night in the parking lot at Kroger's. They're gonna smash into you, and you're gonna be on the middle of I-75 in front of traffic. And you think it's a joke. You think it's a joke, but actually realize the fact these people are on the loose. In the real world, they're on the loose. All of that shit you see from Twitter, that's in the real world too. They're on the loose. It's all on the loose. And if Bigfoot was on the loose, we'd do something about it. We would say, okay, we're going to get an animal control. You know, we're going to get people with nets to catch these creatures and separate them from society so they can't do harm. And why don't we have that same mentality when it comes to these things? Why don't we have the same mentality? Because why? We have to consider them human? I don't think they're human. I think they've crossed that boundary. They're not human anymore. I genuinely think that. I genuinely think animal control has to catch these things and remove them from society. There has to be something done about it. They're angry at the Pat Sox, they're angry at Haas, whatever the fuck they're saying. It's scary. It's a scary world, and it's a scary time. You know, there's a lot of mental retardation that's going unchecked, which is having way too much power. And they're on the loose. They're on the loose. I want you to go ahead and imagine a society where, let's just say 15% of people are angry, aggressive, and mentally retarded. Now, what is the future of that society? And they're running around. They're all running around. They're all running around. If you're at Kroger's and someone saw the Sophie thing, and they said, oh, here's your bag, sir. Ma'am! It's ma'am! And then clobbers them to death. They're all running around. They're all running around. Okay? And I want everyone to know that's the situation we're dealing with here. And it's a whole lot of mental illness and aggression. It's a whole lot of aggression. And we're all part of this wild ride. We're all part of this scenario. We're all part of this circumstance. We have no way of resisting it. We are stuck in this situation. So what do we do? What do we do? These are not human. This is not human anymore. We're not dealing with the same species. This is a different species. They look like us, sure. They kind of seem like us, but they are not one of us. They are not one of us. So what do we do? This is a battle for humanity itself. These people are turning into something different. It's like a zombie apocalypse. They are turning into a different thing. They are not like us. They are a different species. They are a different kind. What are we gonna do about this crazy circumstance we're in? Where these are like, did you see the Chaz mugshot? And you think I'm joking? Did you see the Chaz mugshot? Yes or no? If you saw the Chaz mugshot, you would. Oh yeah, on the face of it, they have Hassan's stream, and it seems like they're normal. Then you look at the Chaz mugshot, and you realize H.P. Lovecraft, he was onto something. Okay, there's something going on here. There's an otherworldly presence that has hijacked our species, and it's turning them into something else. It's turning them into an entirely different kind of thing. And they're Chaz, they were all out of the woodwork. It's like, you know, like in zombie movies where they put baits for the zombie. That was Chaz. All the zombies came out of the woodwork. And you saw that mugshot, and it's terrifying. It's actually terrifying. That was them. The Chaz mugshot that was them. That's all these people on Twitter. It's the Chaz mugshot. What are we gonna do about this? What can we do? I don't know. I don't have an easy solution, right? If you go and look at that Chaz mugshot, you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm gonna make a tweet about this right now. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna say, we should seriously, I'm gonna say, these are all the aggressive synth leftoids on Twitter look like. The question we should start asking is, at what point does speciation? Is it a different species? This is not ironic. Is this human anymore? Is this one of us? They sort of look like us, but they are not one of us. It's terrifying. I'm gonna make that tweet. Jesus, what is that guy on the top? What is that? That guy was run over by a fucking truck. But look at these fucking people. It's scary. It's scary. It's scary. It's actually all of them are terrifying. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. I mean, something's really wrong. Something's really, really wrong. And I don't know what to do about it. I don't have answers. I really don't have. All I can do is point out the problem. We have to acknowledge this as a problem. I'm not saying I have the answer. I don't, but it's a problem. I mean, look at this tweet I posted. Look at these mugshots. Look at top row. The fourth one on the top. What is that? What is that? Someone tell me what that is. I don't know what that is. I don't know what I'm dealing with anymore. I don't know what's going on. But these things are running around. They're running around the America on the loose. And they're it's like they're in the shadows. And then look at the second row, second to last. And that big forehead. Why? I've never seen a forehead that big in my life. And why has it taken that shape? There's something warped and strange going on. There's something warped and twisted. It's only H.P. Lovecraft can understand. It's like a warped mutation of human that's going on. And I don't know what the cause of it is. Maybe it's plastics in the environment. I don't know. But it's really, really scary. Okay? It's really scary. It's really scary. This is not human. It's actually terrifying. And I'm going to post this one because Jesus Christ. These people are running around with semi-human physiques, but they are not of our species. What is going on? What is that? The weirdest thing is how they dye their hair like half and half. I don't know what that means, but oh my God, what is this? These are the most horrific people I've ever seen. I always go back to this image to look at where all the hate is coming from. Someone has to investigate this. Someone's got to investigate. I mean, what the fuck is going on with these creatures? These strange, strange creatures. You know, another thing is that I think about all of the hatred and all the aggression, and you know, I'm open to everything. I even like Trump. I don't even care. Anyone who can actually make things a little interesting, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with anybody who can just make things interesting, because I believe in there, not here. I want the world, well, not the world, but I want the status quo to be something different than what it is. So I'm just, yeah, shake it all up and just, let's just see what happens, right? I guess people don't really have that mentality. A lot of people are just a little too satisfied with how things are, and we gotta stop the pizza. We have to stop us. Get rid of his discard. So why? For what? You just like the status quo. That's why. There's no other reason. You're just very happy with how things are already, because it's not like we changed anything. It's not like anything's gonna change if we're gone. The only change is that you will have extinguished possibilities. Well, congrats. You know, leftists, they're good at drowning babies. They're not good at actually raising it. They're good at destroying things. They're not good at making anything, you know? They're good at, like, killing possibilities. They're not good at actualizing anything new. They're just good at killing possibilities that threaten the Democrats. And that's all it really is. They're Democrats. Agents. They just snuff out any threat to the demon rats, the Democrats. You gotta ask the question where it's all coming from, what it all means, what it all really means, and what is going on. We gotta shut it down until we figure out what's going on. And I've seen a lot of theories, but something's not right in the town of Twin Peaks. Something's just not. There's just these forces that are just among us. And it's, you know, something sinister. I mean, this is a guy you walk by at Walmart, and you're like, yeah, that guy looks really weird. But you keep going about your day. But this thing you just walk, that's not human. I've seen things. I've seen a lot of strange things. And they all came together in Chaz. And I don't know what it is. What are these things that came together in Chaz? It's like, at a certain point, it becomes a different species. At a certain point, this is not one of us. And it's like, I used to say they're just bots. But what if they're not bots? What if it's literally just a different type of species? a different thing entirely. It's just a war. It's a war of survival at this point. It's humanity versus the new things that have emerged. It's this like new specioid humanoid thing. It's not human. It's a human hominid humanoid, something like that. And I heard reports, and I want everybody to look into this themselves, but I've heard reports, and I will kid you not, I'm not going to give away the source because they're investigating, but I've heard reports that these things, I kid you not, they're starting to lay eggs. They were in an anarchist squat, and they were all on drugs, and they were, rocking out and, kind of spazzing out and shit, and there's just no rhyme or rhythm to it, right? They're just all, they're insane. They're insane, demented creatures. But then one day, one of these things, like the ones you saw at the Chaz, they started uncontrollably shaking. They started shaking uncontrollably. These really weird noises started to come out of them. And then at the end of it, everyone thought that they shit the couch. They took a shit. They took a dump. When all was said and done, and because it was like black, it was like this black substance, this black matter that looked like shit, but it wasn't shit. It was eggs. They laid eggs on the couch. I shit you not. They laid eggs. They laid an egg on the couch. I shit you not. This is a story from one of my insiders. And, because these people, they're like mentally retarded or something, they just left it there for weeks. They didn't even pay any attention to it because it's like they're becoming zombies. They're losing all sense. Now there's McDonald's and Taco Bell everywhere, and there's also this egg right next to all of the trash in their SWAT house. And apparently, in the middle of the night, while everybody was either running around on the street or like sleeping. I don't know if they really sleep. They kind of have this thing where they just lay down and stare with their eyes wide open at the ceiling and don't move for a long time, but people say that they're sleeping. I don't know. But apparently there was black vans that came in the middle of the night and they gassed the place. Like everyone was basically knocked out cold to make sure they were knocked out cold. And then the insider said the day later that the egg was gone. So this egg was taken. All the evidence was taken. By the way, this isn't an anarchist squat. This is actually the Missouri chapter of the CPUSA, the only chapter. And I told my people they have to infiltrate the CPUSA. But that was the only club near them. So they're the only one in that club, and they're kind of holding out there. But it's being, it's just being hijacked by these things, and we don't know what's going on. We don't know what is really behind this, right? I've been hearing other weird stories, like, the one that keeps coming up most consistently is the tail thing, like that these people are growing tails, okay? And they're kind of wearing really loose, ragged pants, and sometimes they're trying to wear like those 80s short pants, whatever, because they have that 80s thing, and they're just and a tail from the back. I shit you not, a tail is starting to be visible, and they're not even walking on two legs anymore. They're using they're using their hands to move around like chimpanzees, and they're foaming at the mouth, aggressive, like they've got rabies. You know, if you go to these abortion protests, you will see some of them. You'll see some of them just running around. And it's not the majority yet, but they definitely have a presence. If you go to those abortion protests, you'll see these new things emerging. But yeah, they're laying eggs, they're growing tails. Someone's got to figure out what's going on. Someone's got to figure out what's going on. This is weird stuff. This is strange stuff. These are not of our kind. These are not one of us. You know, I've seen really weird stuff. You know, I've seen, well, I've heard, you know, that they're starting to bite. They grab rats and they starting to bite their heads off, and they're losing cognizance. They're going and they're losing the ability to think consciously anymore. And you know, everybody just got to stay safe. Stay safe out there, because these things are on the loose. These things are on the loose.